Okay, folks, here we go. Thank you for coming. Welcome to the May 9th council meeting. I'm showing at 7:34 p.m. Mrs. Arcisi, would you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Mr. Barker?
Here.
Ms. Darrow?
Here.
Mr. Engel?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Molnar?
Here.
Okay, in this next section of the meeting here, we have the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. And I want to thank Pastor Jeff Toring. You're always there for us, Jeff. You're coming here all the time, helping us out with this. That means something. We call a lot of places trying to find somebody to represent some of the churches, and you're always there. So thank you. I would like to ask Council President Ken Martin to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and Pastor Jeff Toring from Liberty Valley Church to lead us in the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Heavenly Father, God, again, we come before you for this meeting, and we ask your wisdom for all the people who are making decisions. And God, and in light of the events that have just recently taken place with these three young women, we recognize that any one of them could have been one of our own daughters or of our own granddaughters, and it could have happened in our own city here. And so, God, we are grateful for their release, but we also recognize the potential of what can happen. And so we also take time right now to lift up our policemen and our firemen, the safety services, and we would ask that you would give them the shield of protection. Even as we speak, if there would be someone being pulled over, and even in all the other safety services. But we are grateful for safety that you've provided for us thus far. And again, we ask that you'd give wisdom for all the decisions, because it does affect our lives. And we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, we have some minutes. Are there any changes to the minutes? If not, do I have a motion to accept?
I'd like to accept. Second.
All in favor?
Who was
Aye.
the first one who said it?
Opposed?
Oh, okay.
Opposed? Opposed? None. All right. We're going to move right into our comments. We have a couple of people signed up for this evening for public comments. First on the list is Diana Colavecchio. Hi. Yeah, that'll be the best because it is televised, Diana. Hi, how you doing?
Very good.
Adequate.
It's a pleasure to come out here to Macedonia and meet everyone. I'm the new clerk of courts for the Stowe Municipal Court. Excuse me. As you know, the city of Macedonia is one of the 16 jurisdictions covered by the Stowe Municipal Court, and I've been serving there since January 10th. I used to work out here in Macedonia at the UAW Legal Services Plan. I was there for 12 years, met my husband out there. He served for 20 years. We practiced together there and then jumped ship and started a solo practice out in Cuyahoga Falls. I served on city council out in Cuyahoga Falls for about 7 years. And I have to say, coming here tonight, I'm very jealous of the facilities that you have for your council meetings, because we certainly had nothing quite this nice in Cuyahoga Falls. So I brought my cards. I'll pass those out. I invite any of you to come at any time and take a tour of the courthouse. And my phone number's on here. I'll answer any questions that you have if you want to give me a call. Last year, the court handled 19,000 cases, and of those, Macedonia represented just shy of 4% of the cases that came through the court. So it's nice to meet everyone.
And it's nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming here personally. Do you think Macedonia's changed any since you?
Well, I was telling the ladies over there that when I started working here, the only place to eat lunch was the convenient food mart in our parking lot on Crow Drive and Maximilian's. There was nothing else out here, so it's amazing the changes that have happened out here. It's
All
a very
right.
vibrant community.
Yes,
Very.
it is growing stronger every day.
And I'm especially pleased what you did with the railroad tracks.
Oh, isn't that something?
That was something all those years.
It's made a
yeah.
big difference in our revenue because
I
of
can
doing
imagine.
that. So, it's good, thank
You
you.
have a lovely community.
Thank you.
All right.
All
I'll
right.
leave these with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, next on the list is John Casper.
John Casmer, 849 Chinook Trail. I'm talking for the Longwood Manor Historical Society. We're a group of volunteers restoring the Longwood Manor. I just wanted to make a few updates here on what we've accomplished. We have our plans, architectural plans into the building department beginning of this week for the roof, which they're reviewing. We're also, our architect is working on the full set of plans now for the change of use. And I don't have a date on that yet, but that will be in, hopefully by the end of May. We have to want to go set up our time with the Planning Commission to review the plans with them. We're very excited about that. We had some good news from the Ohio Historic Preservation Office. We applied for the National Register. They have reviewed our nomination. They are coming out to Macedonia for the on-site inspection of the house. This is part of their procedures when they put a house on the National Register. That's going to be June 17th that they are coming out. They have some input on looking at the house to make sure it's been, the components are still in a historic, the house is still historic. And it is. There were some changes. The city added handicapped restrooms. That's not going to be an issue, they say, doing that. But they do look at the whole house. They may have some things that they'll want us to do to maintain it in its historic condition, which we can do. The Akron Community Foundation was out a few weeks ago, and I want to thank, we had about 10 people from Macedonia out there to meet with Emily Bean from the Akron Community Foundation on a short notice. Unfortunately, they are not funding historical restoration this granting period, but we will be coming up. So we are on their list now, and they're giving us leads on where to go for certain kinds of help. I think they're going to be huge for us down the road. Lastly, we're doing regular work days at the manors on Saturday. We're out there all last week on Saturday, got work done. We're asking residents. I like this because I get free advertising here to talk for a few minutes. We're looking for volunteers, adults. We need adults to come out who could help us. We could give you information on what you have to wear, what we're doing. So we do have specific tasks we're doing to fix up the house to make it look better while this whole restoration is going on. Thank you.
Okay, moving on with pending and/or new legislation, starting with ordinance 47-2013.
I'd like to offer ordinance 47-2013 for its third reading by title only, please.
An ordinance amending codified ordinance 16101G relating to employee status upon transfer within the city.
And what's your pleasure, Shane?
I'd like to make a motion to amend the ordinance as before us. I'd like to amend section G, where it says, let me see. It says, in the situation the employer may be required to the new positional class designation probation period upon initial hire. I'd like to change it to 90 days. It's an undetermined amount, if that's making sense.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now, what's your pleasure?
I'd like to move that we pass and post ordinance 47, 2013 as amended.
Need a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Ms. Darrow?
No.
Mr. Engel?
No.
Mr. Martin?
No.
Mr. Miller?
No.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes.
Ordinance number 47-2013 fails. Moving on to ordinance number 48-2013.
I'd like to offer ordinance 48, 2013 for its third reading by title only.
An ordinance adjusting the city prosecutor's maximum allowable billable hours.
And what's your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 48, 2013.
Need a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
No.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes.
Ordinance number 48-2013 passes. Moving on to ordinance number 54-2013.
I'd like to offer ordinance 54, 2013 for its second reading by title only.
I thought it was supposed to be a third reading already.
An ordinance creating section 16123 of the codified ordinances prohibiting nepotism in the Macedonia hiring practices.
And what's your pleasure?
It's only second reading.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Moving on, ordinance number 55-2013.
I'd like to offer ordinance 55, 2013 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing agreements for reciprocal emergency management assistance or aid between the City of Macedonia and other political subdivisions and public and private agencies with the state of Ohio. That didn't flow very well.
And what's your pleasure?
I move we pass and post ordinance 55, 2013 according to law.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes.
Ordinance 55-2013 passes. Moving on to resolution number 56,
I don't-
2013.
I'd like to offer resolution 56, 2013 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
A resolution amending resolution number 28, 2004, and restating the city's position regarding pickup and pre-tax contributions as an Ohio Police and Fire Pension Fund member.
Mr. Schwab, before we go any further, could you explain this to us, please?
Yes, sir. This is mandatory resolution that's required from the Ohio Police Fire Pension Fund, reflecting the new rates that the employees will have to pay in. For the next 3 years, their rates are going up to 3/4%, starting July 7th, 2013 to July 5th, 2014. It'll be 3/4%, and then thereafter 15, another 3/4, and again 15, 3/4. The city will have no extra cost incurred in this. It merely is a resolution that's required by the state for the pension pickup.
I just want, it says here in section 1, it says, has determined to continue the pickup of all mandatory contributions, it says all mandatory, by the employees who are members of OP, Ohio Police and Fire Pension. So it doesn't increase the amount that the city puts in.
No, sir.
Since police and fire wants more from the employees, we have to do that so that it can happen. Is that
Yes.
right? Okay.
What's your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post resolution 56, 2013 according to law.
Need a second.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes.
Resolution 56, 2013 passes. Are there any other motions or legislative actions this evening?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion that council forms a committee to discuss Charter Review Commission, since our charter changes yet next year with the number of council people and their duties.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion on the motion?
Are you asking to do that early, Mike? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, I'm asking to do it this year, so we're prepared next year when things change.
I thought well,
Mr. 5
what's,
years.
yeah, what does Mr. Deemert say from, as a law director?
Well, the charter sets forth when you're supposed to start doing this, and I would have to look up that provision in here.
When we did the charter review, we went through and changed all the things that had to do with going from 6 to 5 members.
I thought we did, yeah.
Right, I thought we
That's
covered all
done.
those issues.
Yeah, that's all done.
Yeah, those are all covered.
It's due to happen in next year, 2014.
2014.
And sometimes prior to, like the December of this year, in past practice, or January of 2014, the appointment of the Charter Review Committee is made. They're usually given a window of 6 months to work, and that's why they're made in December or in January.
Since council does have a total makeup, what could have a total makeup change January?
It will have a total change in January, and that's probably the better time to do this, since those council persons will be the ones to review what the Charter Review Commission does, not this council.
And appoint those members as well, right?
Correct. Correct.
Well, in certain things, on this council, you have to have 4 votes to pass things. Now, next year, when we have 1 less person, we have to have 3 to be a majority.
Correct.
All right. Now, doesn't that change all the numbers in the charter?
Yes. And it was all in the amendment that was adopted by the voters.
And can you refresh our memory?
No, I mean, it's a lengthy ordinance that was adopted by the voters, and there's maybe a dozen places where the number of council members change is reflected in what number will be required next year for all those things.
And
So-
that information is available to the general public, merely by
It's-
calling.
Sure, it was
Clerk.
advertised, it was published, it was delivered to all the voters, they voted on it, and then it went into effect.
It's in the current charter that the change will be effective 2014. So 2014, as Mr. Deemer pointed out, whatever your majority was, right now the majority is 4 out of the 6. It'll be 3 out of the 5, but your supermajority will be 4 out of your 5. And
Are
that's
you-
clear in the charter amendment.
Josephine, are you saying that the charter now says 4, but when January rolls around, the
Right.
charter will be reprinted to show the changes that are,
I
take
will,
effect
I can
then?
have Mike Kelly do that, yes.
Is that what we would normally do?
We've never had that before, but the charter already,
Yeah.
reads that change
The
will
official
take.
one.
Right, it
yes.
just hasn't been printed with the new change because it's not.
Yeah,
effective
because it's not
until next
relevant.
year.
It's not
Right.
relevant right now. So in every section, as Mr. Deemer pointed out, every section that says, by the majority of council, that majority will be 3. Every area where it says requires a 3, not the 2/3 vote, where it says it would require the 3/4 vote, that would be, that's your supermajority, and that would be 4 out of the 5.
But in the new charter, next year, the mayor won't break ties,
No,
even if they're 2 to 2.
absolutely, that's right, it's already set. That's already been set. All that has been done. That passed in 2009. It becomes effective 2014.
Perhaps we could get those printed maybe later in the year then possibly.
Are those provided online right now? Could you pull that up with, like the Conway Green thing we have?
Well, what you'll see is the charter, you'll see the language that effective such and such a date, that's what's in the charter right now.
I guess maybe what I'm saying, we're asking is if it's possible, if you could pull that and maybe Mr. Miller and those people of
It
council
would be
who are
easier to
interested.
just give them the ordinance.
Well,
Yeah, that's what
I
I'll
meant.
do.
That's why
That's
I
not a
said
problem.
Make
Everything
it
that,
available, so when people ask us what's gonna happen, we can refer to that.
Yeah.
Would you like to withdraw your motion, Mike?
I will now, if I can get an assurance that they'll put the ordinance on the website. It shouldn't be too difficult, correct?
I don't think that's a problem at all.
no, the ordinance that went to the ballot, absolutely not. I mean, it's very easy. I mean, the charter already says it.
Okay.
You want it on the website, you got it.
Yeah, we'll put the original,
There's a link here, it says charter/codified ordinances online. I guess I thought that was already available, to be perfectly honest with you.
the charter is online.
Okay,
But
that's,
not
But that
that.
doesn't show
We're
the
just-
changes.
Yeah, we're just
One
talking about
ordinance.
next year after it changes to 5 council.
And not everybody's computer can get that information. You gotta have the latest you-know-what to get it to work.
The one ordinance has everything in one spot. You don't need to look through all
Yeah,
of it.
we'll put that on there and then all Mike, it'll be addressed.
Great, thank you. No need for that motion. I do have one other one, that council forms a committee to make a plan with our police and fire department as to the multiple changes that we're gonna be faced with this Northfield Racino. We need to have a plan, we need to have a plan and talk to our neighbors, because we're gonna be in for dramatic changes.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion on the motion.
Yes, Mr.
Do we have an emergency plan if our fire and police calls double?
You know what, so far, Mike, I've kind of left that up to the department heads to make sure that we're okay. We have mutual aid agreements with Northfield, absolutely, and with all the surrounding communities.
Can we call the question, Mr. Mayor?
Call the question.
Yes, please, take a vote.
All in favor?
no.
Mr. Barker, I'll just, I'll run through
No.
the roll call. Mr. Engel,
No.
sorry, I got confused here, Miss Darrow.
Huh?
Miss Darrow, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Mr.
No.
Yeah, we did that already.
She forgot me.
Yeah, I'm getting, Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Mulner.
No.
All right, motion fails. Is there any other motions or legislative actions this evening? Hearing none, we'll move on to correspondence from the clerk.
I have several, sir. This is from Christine Cruz. Good evening. I just wanted to send you a note regarding Tim, the lifeguard on duty this evening at the pool on May 13th. This is obviously to Director Angela Gimrick. My daughter jumped into the pool and injured her knee and was taken by EMS to the ambulatory. I wanted to let you know how helpful and caring Tim was to my daughter and a huge help to us. He stayed with Ariel the whole time, got her an ice pack, helped assess the situation, looked for a wheelchair for us and to take her out to the car. What a superior employee you have in Tim, and I wanted to bring to your attention and thank him and the staff of the Macedonia Recreation Center.
Excuse me, Josephine, I hate to interrupt you, but I don't want to forget. Joe, did you read about a recent case in the legal news involving the natatorium in Cuyahoga Falls? There was an article there written by Justice Pfeiffer.
No, I missed it.
At any rate, it talked about the fact that they declared that the natatorium, the city of Cuyahoga Falls, was actually liable. They had asserted sovereign immunity, of course, and could you do me a favor and just pull that case out? And Josephine, I'm sorry that I interrupted you. It's just that I remember that I wanted to ask about it, so thank you very much.
This is to Service Director Jim DiGitano. Jim, Just want to take a few moments to express my gratitude for the effort, time, care, and diligence spent getting the fields ready for Longwood. A lot of hard work by the men over the service department have turned those fields into arguably the best in the area. I also want to thank you for taking and returning my calls. In years past, those calls went unanswered. Our solid dialogue and having the chance to meet you has made a definite positive impression. If there are any needs from me or the NHAA, please advise. If we can still stay on the same page, the community will support your efforts as well as others. You have my commitment to do what is needed. Again, thanks. This is Randy Clow, Vice President of the Intergroup International and obviously part of the NHAA. Dear Mr. Kukta and Mr. DiGattino, I just wanted to pass along a word of recognition and thanks to the Macedonia Service Department for their hard work this week on the baseball fields at Longwood Park. I've been an umpire for the NHA recreational and travel leagues for many years and appreciate the time that is taken to recut the infields, flatten the outfield, and dry the fields as much as they could. Because of their work, we were able to play our games on Thursday evenings on Field C. The coaches, parents, players, all very pleased with what has occurred. Nate Horsfall, again, part of NHA. That's it,
Very
John.
good. Thank you, Josephine. Moving on to the mayor's report. Number one, first thing I have to say is a great big thank you for soundly passing issue 1, which is a renewal of our fire levy. It was passed 4-1 this time. Last time it passed 2-1. We thought that was good. People are realizing more and more how important a fire department such as ours is to living in Macedonia. We have voted to keep our fire department strong. As your mayor, I thank you. As a resident of Macedonia, I thank you for passing this levy. We are lucky that we have this valuable asset that is our fire department. I will be in Washington next week to meet with Congressman Joyce and Congressman Renacci. I'm working with Congressman Joyce to obtain funding for some anticipated safety projects for the city. On the local scene, I was in Independence this morning for a meeting of the Northeast Ohio Mayors Association. Whenever you have mayors get together, the hot topic is State House Bill 5. This is a House bill that threatens our main source of revenue, and that's city income tax. It's very important that the mayors join together to have a force in numbers to oppose this bill passing. It may be hard for you to understand the impact this will have on your city, so let me give you a little example. Let's say the city of Macedonia is standing at a bus stop. The state, with the mask on, so we don't know who they are, comes up and robs you. Every penny you have. But then they give you bus fare and expect you to be grateful. That's what's been happening over and over at the state level. The state has been taking away things like inheritance tax, municipal funding, which is actually our cut of the sales tax, and saying, okay, you're on your own, run it. Then they want to take away our ability to be on our own with House Bill 5. I want to commend the Mayor's Association for what they've done to make it easy for people to understand the devastating effects of House Bill 5. They came up with this. I think it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's like a traffic light. And Mike, I have to get you one of these. The red means oppose. The yellow means caution, additional looking at this part of the bill. And green means we're fine with it. These will be available to any of our residents that are interested. It's hard to look at a bill and say what's good, what's bad. It's confusing. What are we for? What are we against? Here it is, and this was given to our state legislature, and they love it because somebody finally came forth with an easy way for them to tell exactly where we stand on every issue in that bill. Last Friday, Jim Digatano and I were in Columbus for a safety directors meeting. Jim came with me to learn the rules and regulations prompting safety in our city. Many times as a mayor, I turn to our service department to implement safety measures. The seminar was put on by the Ohio Safety Directors Association, of which I'm an active member, because I also serve Macedonia as your safety director. There were only 2 other mayors there that serve as safety directors, so we're kind of rare anymore. Most of those present were hired safety directors by the cities and townships across the state. I met with 3 other businesses since our last council meeting that are interested in either expanding or locating here. This is all good stuff. Every business brings in employees. Employees pay 2.25% city income tax. They keep your real estate operating taxes for your city down. The real estate operating tax here has been basically the same since 1962. Here's a note. Our old city hall is on the Summit County Council agenda to be demolished. You know, it's really sad to see a building that could have been put to good use be torn down. In a way, it puts an end to my quest to try and help the county fill that building with something that would benefit us not only as a city, but as a community. Maybe I should be relieved that I won't have to worry about it anymore. At our next council meeting, I will be bringing forth legislation to accept a quick claim deed for the property. We're getting all of this because of the efforts of Nick Costanderas, Jason Dodson, and County Executive Russ Fry. This will be no cost to the city. In our, we will be given a clean parcel of land, and I'm thinking we're gonna turn it into a grassy plot with some flowers and a park bench or 2, and we're gonna try and save the trees that are there. So actually, we're gonna get more of a campus look to our municipal complex. Nick Costanderas told me all that news today about the property as we went to our senior luncheon to enjoy some of the best chicken paprikash I ever had. Our senior coordinator, Sherry, is serving fantastic food at fantastic prices to our seniors and also to neighboring communities. The lunch costs $3 for Macedonia seniors and $4 if you're one of our neighbors. You need to come and enjoy this if you're a senior. And lastly, a little bit of information. Governor Kasich has signed the transportation budget / Ohio Turnpike plan. It will raise $1.5 billion in new turnpike bonds. It guarantees that at least 90% of that money will go to fix northern road projects in Ohio. In Summit County, that's anything north of 303. That's a real good thing. There will be at least a partial toll freeze, so you don't have to worry about the tolls changing that much. I don't know what partial toll freeze means. I'm assuming that they are going to freeze that card that you can use instead of paying cash. I forget what they call that.
Easy pay?
Easy pay, yes. Thank you, Josephine. So I think that one for sure is going to be frozen, and I don't know which other ones. But again, that's another good thing, and at least some good is coming from state government. And that's about it. Moving on to committee reports. Are there any committee reports?
Mr. Mayor, just a couple things. Number one, I wanted to discuss for a minute just the situation involving the water park, simply because I would ask our law department, Mr. Deemert, to contact the individuals who are, the principals who are involved with the water park and start putting together an operating agreement with them for the reason that before I believe the project can actually proceed, we're going to need an agreement. And secondly, I would ask Mr. Deemert if you could inquire of the principals of the water park to provide a financial pro forma in terms of how they see things financially for the next 3 years. Secondly, there's been some information that's been circulated via emails, via the newspaper, via other sources, and I would like the law department to be the clearinghouse for that information. In the same way that attorneys, when they go back and forth, they exchange information with interrogatories and requests for production of documents. Mr. Molnar had listed a set of questions and issues, and I would like to see the law department address those questions and issues, and in turn, any other member of council who would have questions or issues should direct them to the law department. The law department can certainly correspond with the principals and come up with answers, because I really believe that what we need good, solid, factual information that we can rely upon to make these decisions. So, Mr. Deemert, if you can go ahead and do that, I would certainly appreciate it. And thank you very much. The only other thing I wanted to mention, Mr. Mayor, was that I've been contacted by 2 or 3 residents concerning their water bills. And when NEO RSD made their presentation, I thought to myself that this is very, very complicated in terms of how they're billing our citizens. And in fact, I gained a much greater understanding now of why you fought so hard against it, because this is a detriment, I believe, to our community. But that being said, I spoke to one resident, Mr. Tom Porter, who actually appealed, and he wanted to go from a tier 2 to a tier 1, and they actually jacked him up to a tier 3 and charged him more money. And one of the things I just want to toss out right now and have the city consider, we help some of our citizens with their income tax. I believe that the city needs to take a look at establishing a help desk for people who want to appeal the designation placed on them by the NEO RSD, because it is extremely complicated, Mr. Mayor. And I think those of us who attended that meeting understand that. So I want to make that suggestion, because when I got my first water bill and I saw the amount of money that I was being charged, I can understand how that could be simply a burden.
Absolutely. I too have been getting a lot of calls. In fact, I've been researching with our law department and our engineering department and bringing up all the figures again on getting water from Akron. In fact, I am having lunch with Dennis Clow on Monday. Who is Dennis Clow? Dennis Clow is the mayor of Westlake. And as mayor of Westlake, he fought Cleveland Water. So I'm going to talk over different strategies with him. So am I on it? You bet I'm on it, because this is actually, it shows you what government run wild can really do. Here you have elected officials that answer to you. In Cleveland, you have officials that were appointed in answer to nobody. And they could give a damn whatever you think. And it's getting worse and worse. The city fights with, our city fights with the city of Cleveland. The mayor wrote a letter to Mayor Frank Jackson asking him, mayor to mayor, would you please sit down with me and try and resolve some of these issues where we get a water main break and the water main break destroys an entire section of road. How do we know that? Because they actually come out now and use a radar to go down through the road to find out if there's problems with the base. So if you have a water main break in front of me over here and water starts coming out by Dave Engel, you have to replace that whole section of road. And it costs a lot of money to do that because usually you have to repair the base. And we're supposed to be reimbursed from the city of Cleveland, and we're not. They only give us this much money because that's all they say they're liable for, and that's wrong. We are appealing this in every way possible. Our law department has written letters to Cleveland Water, and now we have to rewrite and resend those letters because they probably went in the round file because they don't give a damn. At any rate, good point, Ken.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question for you. When the old City Hall building goes down, that won't cost the city anything to remove it, right? The city, I mean, county's gonna pay for it? And then
County's building,
who's gonna plant the grass, though, after the building goes down?
us.
Okay, because it'll go into our name then, right? 'Cause if they're
It'll
gonna
be
get-
ours,
Okay.
and when they leave, there won't be any rubble there.
Right.
It might need some work by Jim's crew to level it out, but we've been doing beautification on various slots throughout the city. If you'll notice on the corner of Park and 82, you've seen our grade all there. We're working on that corner, which is to give us more of the campus look. We're gonna be doing some plantings there. We're gonna put a bench there.
I know, I read it
We
in the
might do
paper.
the same thing with this particular lot.
So that's
Will it ever be
2.15
for sale?
acres. How much
No,
grass is that?
it's residential, it's zone residential, and that's why a business couldn't be in there. All right, so it was a lose-lose for them, and their last gasp was the making it into the senior center. And when that failed, they said, okay, we have no other choices, we're gonna tear it down, because now it's just a white elephant.
Okay, so we'll be planting the grass, the city will, once it goes into our name.
Yeah, we'll fix it up
So
nice
sod,
and,
all of-
and probably put some flowers and grass.
So
Is
we
it-
did well selling that?
Do
and
we
getting it
already
out?
have that appropriated? Or
Did
will
we
we-
have that appropriated?
Scott, do
Do
you
we
know-
have
Grass.
grass seed appropriated?
Yes, we purchase it, sure, yeah. Scott just,
Sure, there'd
we
be
just
some-
purchased it.
Now, is
Well,
this
no,
better
just-
grass seed than we used in the 5-year soccer fields?
Yes, we bought.
I'm
this-
talking about when the building goes down, just that area, because that wasn't, you know, in the plans, I guess.
But it doesn't take that much, 100 pounds of seed, you're looking at a little over $100.
That's, what is it over there? It says 2.15 acres, right?
Yeah, but I don't think they'll tear up that much product, just where the building is.
All right, I was just
Yeah,
wondering.
Yeah, we'll fix it up. though.
Once it goes into our
If
name.
it does cost more money, then we'll naturally up.
Well,
right, thank you.
actually, they paid us $750,000
I know.
for that, and we're getting it back
For nothing.
for nothing.
Pretty good deal.
And we're worrying about grass seed.
No, that's a
Aren't
question.
we in committee reports?
Yes, how did we get
Yeah.
off subject? This
Just
is
wanted to
new
check
and
back
old
with you guys.
business, all of
Ken
it.
took us off subject.
One last question, Mayor. There was a basement in that building?
No.
So
Jim?
we don't need any fill from the mound over there by Little
Yeah,
Basement?
wouldn't that be good? No.
Get some free dirt.
But that mound is a good place to get rid of the dirt as that new driveway. I'll be meeting with those people over there in the crossings about the new driveway. That mound might go right there. Mike has also come up with a couple of brilliant ideas about the mound on how to pursue those people that were actually doing the inspections at the time that was built. because somebody missed that. So he's using his head. I gotta give him credit. Good stuff, Mike. All right, department reports. Jim?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor, Council. Just a reminder, all the mulch is gone. We used all of it, and that was for the residents. If you notice some mulch being dumped for City Hall, yes, we had to purchase it because we had none left. We gave everything to the residents, free. So we're trying to beautify our area. Memorial Park, City Hall, and entrances to the park, and we'll probably dress up the rec center too, with flowers and so on. Also, I wanted everyone to know that, to remind them about the Garden Club. Is having their plant sale this Saturday at the old firehouse. It's going to be from 9 o'clock to 3. And also, Mayor, me and Nick Feeney went to a ODOT meeting today. They're going to start pouring the deck on the Highland Road Bridge Tuesday, May 14th.
Good.
Okay, they'll start the deck and the parapet wall. And they'll be starting from the west, going east, each side of the road. Okay?
I want to be there to see that.
Well, they're expecting that black car to be there.
Okay,
They'll be
it will
waiting
be.
for you. And we're proceeding with our ditching. We did all the worst areas first. We just follow the work orders on everything we do in order that they're received. So anybody calls in with something, they are being taken care of. And we're working on other projects to try to straighten out lifting sidewalks and so on.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, that's my report for today.
All right, Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. Parkview Estates will be paving surface course next week. Going to do a couple full depth repairs and any kind of curb repairs that need to be done. Then they are going to pave that, and then they will be coming in the near future looking for dedication on that road. Bid openings for South Bedford Road are tomorrow at noon. That concludes my report.
Very good. That means tomorrow we'll know what it's going to cost. Good. Angela?
Good evening. Just a few reminders. The Recreation Department is no longer printing a brochure. You will not be receiving those in your newsletter as an insert. So I wanted just to remind everyone once again, everything is available on our website, which is macrec.com. We are currently accepting registration for a lot of summer activities, summer swim lessons, summer day camp, tot t-ball, community flea market. All of that information is available on our website. You can follow us on Facebook as well, and we do weekly postings and announcements and updates on there. And then hopefully at the next council meeting, I'll have information I can bring forward to announce an itinerary of a Summer in the City list of events that we're going to be doing as community and special events all summer long here in Macedonia this summer.
I had a sneak peek, and it's good. Really good. All right.
Hey, Angela. I've been talking to a lot of residents, and a lot of Macedonia residents said that they would consider joining the rec center if they could do 6 months, and that would be just for the winter, because they have outdoor pools and stuff, and they want their kids to play outside and do more outside activity. And would I ask you, would that be something you would look at, maybe for the Macedonia residents?
I didn't make it up.
About doing 6 months, you know, more towards fall and winter. I said that I would bring it up, okay?
Half your membership?
Yeah. They said they would join they have several residents that would join our rec center. And I said I would bring it to your attention.
Sure, we can review that again.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea. Scott?
Thank you, Mayor. Council, just a brief overview of the handout I gave for capital asset for the audits. I just want to make sure everyone knows that through the all the general funds and the other funds, we spent $1,633,161 in 2012 for mostly road repairs, which was $1,260,000, and street vehicles, 2 police cars, the Longwood Park playground equipment, a salt truck chassis, and some items for the pool department, which was $278,000. But the $1,633,000 came directly from the city, and then we had pass-through money, as Mr. Diglitano talked about, the bridge, the Highland Road Railroad Overpass Bridge, Kenmore Construction. through federal grants, they spent $6,354,843 last year. And then also we had another grant that was received for the State Route 82 widening project, $394,395 for the Phase 1 engineering. So the total amount spent, not only for the city, but the pass-through amount was $8,382,400, which was quite amazing. And that 1/4% income tax that is scheduled to roll off in 2014, that's going to take a $1.3 million budget hit. So we've been consistently spending the last 3 years roughly over $1 million, 1.3 to 1.5 million. So basically that 1/4%, I want to reiterate, is goes entirely almost to general or to capital projects. And as I was compiling these reports, I noticed this year we spent to date $160,615 in salt. And that's with a lower price, a bid price of $37.13 a ton. Last year, the county bid price was $43, so we actually saved $7.54 a ton. But I understand also that we're committed to buy a certain amount of tonnage, as we are every year when you pre-bid. And even factoring that in, I believe Diglitano said we had to purchase another 500 tons, but it would bring up the total year-to-date spent would be $178,615 roughly, compared to last season $211,791. So there's been some savings on salt through less usage and also through the lower cost of that we had for the state bids or the county bid this year. And I want to also report finally, and I'll get together with the mayor and I've already spoken to Angela. We were successful on that fishing grant. So June 15th, the day before Father's Day, we're going to have available for children under 17 to come and sign up for the rec center, and she has it posted already. We're going to have a little community fishing day at Longwood Park, and there'll be some free tackle giveaways, and there'll be actually a small lunch provided, and it'll run from 9 to noon. And hopefully a lot of people from the fire department, the explorers, and other people from the police department volunteered. And so we got that grant. It's roughly $3,000. And I went ahead and, because the fiscal year of the state ends July 1st, we went ahead and submitted for 2014, and we were awarded the grant for 2014 also, which I want to expand for again the same date, Father's Day, the Saturday before Father's Day. But also, in talking to Angela, we wanted to include smaller fishing opportunities just for the education part at the rec center, maybe in February and March. And so we would have small mini classes there, and to teach the kids about conservation, how to tie a knot, how to cast a pole, and again, that'll be tackle giveaways. And all this is from Division of Wildlife monies that are funneled down from the federal government through our excise tax. Anytime anyone buys any fishing equipment or related boating equipment, they're charged a federal excise tax of 10%. It's collected, the states have to go and apply for them, and then it's trickled down to us when we apply. So it's a no cost, and it's all in-kind contributions. So the volunteers that help run these clinics, they'll actually be our portion of the 25%. So it's really exciting that we can offer some type of programming for residents that will cost us nothing.
Yes,
so,
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have Lieutenant Lewis with us tonight. Do you have a report?
Yes, Mayor. On behalf of Fire Chief Tim Black and the whole fire department, we would just like to thank Mayor, Council, and all the residents of Macedonia for passing our fire levy. Issue 1, 4-1, that was great. Also on May 6th, which was Monday morning, we did the prom crash at the high school. We do that every year before prom. There was approximately 500 students. It was a mock simulation of what could happen when alcohol is involved. And it gives the students a very good perspective of when you take that step and not think of the whole big picture, what could happen. So that was a great participation between police and fire. We also started our hydrant flushing details throughout the community. Signs are posted on all the throughways that come into town. So We tell everybody if you run your water and there's a little brown tinge to it, run it. If it doesn't clear up, within a minute or two, shut it down, wait an hour, go to the lowest part of your house, open a sink, faucet, and let it run. If it still does not clear, contact the fire department and we'll assist you with those issues. And lastly, I would just like to acknowledge Fire Chief Tim Black. He's been with the city, I believe, 30 years as of today. So
Wow.
I'd like to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
He's a great chief, great person. That's all. Thank you.
Good job. John?
Thank you, Mayor. Continuing with what Rob said, the program at the high school is every 15 minutes. It's an alcohol type-based program. In the little blurb reads, it's a 2-day program focusing on high school juniors and seniors, which challenges them to think about drinking and driving, personal safety, and the responsibility of making mature decisions. Along with alcohol-related crashes, it focuses on the impacts that their decisions have in regards to them, family, and friends. Like Rob said, Monday was a simulated crash. They had the scene covered with a tarp. Channel 8 was out. I don't know if anybody saw it. When all the students were assembled, the juniors and seniors, they pulled the tarp off, and they had students dressed up in the crash with makeup for injuries. There was one simulated death. Life flight came, which has an impact with the kids. Today at the high school at 1 o'clock, they had the trial, the so-called trial of the student who was drinking and driving for that simulated crash. And also they had the student who perished in the crash do like an obituary type thing where she said goodbye to her family, her friends, and it was very touching. I want to thank Sheriff Steve Berry, who was responsible for the program. We were one of only 2 school districts in the county that got that program. Macedonia Fire, Macedonia Police, Northfield Center Fire. City Prosecutor Myra Severin was there today prosecuting the case. Judge Kim Hoover from Stowe Court. Superintendent Joe Clark, and of course Casey Wright, who was fantastic to deal with. And I think Interstate Towing set up the vehicles. So I hate if I missed anybody, I apologize, but it's a wonderful, wonderful program. Because prom is coming this Friday, I believe. So it falls right in line with the decisions that some of them are going to have to make for this weekend.
That's great stuff.
That's
great.
You know, Mayor, if I could say,
Yes.
on behalf of the police chief, Captain Ripley and I attended the scholarship awards banquet at the high school last night because Paul Solinsky, if anybody doesn't know, Paulie Solinsky, his father's a lieutenant with the fire department. The fire department gives out a scholarship every year to an individual who is seeking to go in this line of work. We only had one applicant, and it was Paulie Solinsky, and we gave him a scholarship towards becoming a paramedic firefighter in the future. And with that being said, they also gave 3 scholarships out to 3 young ladies who committed from the time they stepped foot into the high school all the way through their senior year. No drugs, no alcohol, no tobacco. And being a father of kids that are growing up and seeing what these kids go through, that's a tremendous peer pressure on our children. And to see that, it's pretty proud. We got some good kids in this community.
More good stuff. Very good. All right, Joe.
Yes, Mayor, at your request, I have taken some action against the Republic Waste Removal Company. As you know, they had a strike which delayed removal of rubbish at our residences as well as some of the commercial enterprises. It put a burden on our service department as well as the individual residents. So I'm seeking some type of reimbursement for our residents as well as the city, and we'll keep you posted on how that goes.
Thank you. That was a very, very hard time for a lot of our people. Garbage was blowing all over the place, and our service department guys went to where they were called to. Thank you, Jim. All right. Is there any unfinished business?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to bring up real briefly, I had a call from a resident that was inquiring about the 271 widening, and they were referencing the noise, and with that occurring, would we be putting a noise wall in? And they also inquired about a public meeting. I got word today that it's being scheduled mid-July, and the talks of the noise restraint, whatever you would call it, is on the plate and is not determined yet, so more to come on that.
Thank you, Nick. That is an issue. Any other unfinished business? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming.